Brown's Life Oasis podcast studio in Boise, Idaho. The Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Welcome, everybody. I am Sans Everyone. This is also the first time we're trying an experiment, so you may or may not see this recording, I'm not sure. But right now we are on a mobile recording studio. It's not my typical studio that I have when I'm in California. And we're going to see how this goes, because I don't have a board, I don't have my mics, I don't have everything else. So let me introduce you to these two lunatics that were kind enough to come on the show with me. Starting on my left, your right, he's the lead moderator of the Idaho Cigar Cartel on Facebook. He also owns Traveling with Cigars. He is the one, the only, Tommy Elledge, also known as Chainsaw. Welcome on board.
Thank you very much, and it's wonderful to have you back out here in Idaho.
Not bad, huh?
Not at all.
We'll get there eventually.
I have been sworn to secret, so you don't really see him here.
You really put that out there. Okay, here we go. So, on my right, your left, is the owner of the Brown's Life podcast. He also has been a cigar buddy of mine for a long time and getting started in the podcasting world, and this is his studio. You can't see it all, so sorry, I wish you could. Mr. William Brown.
How y'all doing out there?
So, Brown, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Because I know you'll probably join us again at another point to talk about some of the different stuff, but
I hope so.
Let's get the the little normals out of the way here. I know you were smoking cigars for a bit.
Yes.
Then you stopped.
I did.
And now you're back into the cigar world with us again. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was a hobby that I always enjoyed. When I first started, though, my primary stick was the Macanudo Robusto.
Okay.
And then I went away, and then I came back, and of course, when I decided I was going to come back to cigars, because I enjoyed the hobby, I enjoyed a lot of my own downtime and some quiet time with myself and such, that I would go right back to the Macanudo Robusto. Well, that is not the same stick as it once was.
True.
And I decided, if I'm going to get back into the cigar realm, I need to have one I enjoy. And so that was the start of a new journey for me, trying to find the right cigar.
Yeah.
And then you kind of came on the scene with me fairly shortly thereafter. I mean, 3-4 years ago now, I guess.
Yeah, but you know whose fault that is, right?
No.
His.
It is his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But your palate has gone way up since you and I first started hanging out.
Well, I've had a lot of sampling opportunities.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know people.
I know people.
So, Tommy, obviously you are the catalyst for Will and I meeting. You and I have been friends for, I wouldn't say we're not 10 years yet, but we're getting there.
Getting there.
And you made the move in 2001 to escape the disaster of the state of California.
No, not 2001,
2021. Yeah, 2021, sorry, 20 years difference. And then you moved up here to the soon-to-be People's Republic of Idaho.
No.
You all can say no. But I'm telling you, I'm running for governor, and that's just the way this is going to be.
It's not going to work.
Feel free to run all you want. You ain't getting anywhere.
Many have tried.
So,
Many have died.
Yes. So tell me a bit, if you would, about, my brain just went blank. Oh, yes. So you and I obviously met years ago at Tobacco Republic.
That is
right?
correct.
And it's a long story that you all know, because I've told it on the show at least twice. I think the last time you joined us when we were talking about not your business traveling with cigars, but actually traveling with cigars and how to do it.
Yes, that is correct.
And if you wish to see that episode, it is titled Traveling with Cigars. Go into my back catalog, look it up.
Great subject.
You don't get to see him. You're welcome. But he was a phone call in back then because we weren't bright enough at that point to have video. But you did get to call into the show and we had a good time. Or maybe we were on video back then. I don't really remember. It was a long time ago. But tell me, what was the your smoking experience starting obviously from day one when you retired at
47 years, 4 months, and 8 days driving trains.
Right. So what was what was the beginning? I mean, I remember that night. I know you do too.
Oh, I do. I truly remember even the details of the cigar. I was fortunate enough on my last day at work to have plenty of time to get down to Tobacco Republic and enjoy a fine cigar. When I walked in, Craig was working, and I told him today was my last day. Tomorrow I sign my retirement papers. I want a cigar. And he turned me on to a Terroir by Chinook Cellars, which is now back in production.
That's fantastic.
That is, then I got to get me a box. I mean,
Yeah.
I got to get a hold of him and let him know I need me a box. But
Tarwar?
Terroir.
Terroir,
Terroir?
Terroir,
I don't think
yeah.
I've even heard of that one.
yeah. Well, they're very. If you want a boutique guitar,
They were-
boutique cigar. They are
Boutique guitar would
fantastic.
be good,
Well,
too.
boutique cigar too.
Well, Terroir shortly were Chinook Cellars was a winery based in Napa, California,
Okay.
and
Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa.
That's correct.
That general disaster
Yeah.
of an area. Fortunately for Brian, who owns Chinook Cellars, his cigars were at a different location when, in typical California fashion, a wildfire wiped out that
The
whole
entire
area,
process.
including
His
the winery.
vineyards, his winery and vineyards were destroyed in the Santa Rosa fire.
So he ended up, I would assume, taking the insurance company and moving,
Yes, he went to Texas. That is correct.
and he's back up and running again. He
That
makes
is-
great sticks.
Oh, he makes great sticks and great wine.
And the bands are pewter bands on the
Yes.
cigars. I mean, it's just a cool
It's
product.
a cool product, absolutely. But creamy for a first timer, and the quality of the cigar, no bite, no sting on retrohaling, and I really didn't know anything about retrohale at that time, but for an introductory cigar, it was absolutely superb, and that's what got me into this journey of enjoying fine premium cigars.
Yeah, and I walk into the lounge and was flabbergasted that he's actually sitting there smoking a cigar and not just taking up my real estate.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
but it was fun.
It was fun. And then the journey went on. So in 2021, you moved up here.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I remember one of the trips you and I did, we said, okay, typed in, okay, Google, tell me about where we can smoke. And I think at that time, one of the only places was
first-
the Vault that came up.
The vault? Well, no, actually it was VCAT, because we were right there in the hotel in Napa.
That's right, and they were closed.
And they were closed that day.
Yeah.
But in further searching of Google, we found out that the vault was open. Now they're closed on Sundays, but
Right.
back then they weren't. But and then our experience and journey up here in the beautiful state of Idaho just blossomed.
And like a fat kid in a buffet, every time I come up here, off I go to the Vault.
Definitely.
So I must have met you shortly after you moved up here.
That's correct.
Because we were here about the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we came in 20 or 21. I mean, it was
Right.
still, we still were just dealing with the vid where I came from. So I think it's,
Well, 22 is when the Idaho Cigar Cartel became an entity, and that was Brian Malone and I,
yeah.
or not, yeah,
Yeah.
Brian Malone
Brian.
and I were chit-chatting about, that there was really nothing on social media promoting brick and mortar stores throughout Idaho.
Gotcha.
Of which at that time there were like 4.
Right.
Yes, that is
Because
correct.
he was
Two
doing it,
Stearmans,
yeah.
the Vault, VCAT. That was all we had in the Treasure Valley.
Right.
Yeah. But you guys have been around a long time. So not to put y'all on the spot, I'm obviously going to start with him because I know what yours is.
Good, because I can't pronounce that.
That's okay. Tommy, what'd you pick out for this show today?
Well, the show today is from last year's Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest bag. I still got a few sticks and looking forward to replenishing my supply in August. But it is a La Palina KB Series 3, Part 3, excuse me, which is a Honduran cigar.
Pulled a Scotch. You hear that?
I pulled it.
Honduran?
I did that in his honor.
Way
That
to
was a
go.
plan.
That's a planned one. Okay, I see.
Don't mess up my story.
see.
It's a cigar from Honduras, The factory is the Fábrica de Tabacos Risas Cubanas S.D.R.L. The wrapper is a Honduran Corojo. Binder is a double Corojo Honduran. Filler is Nicaraguan Corojo and Carrillo. It's a 5x52 Robusto. The manufacturer's retail price in the rest of the wonderful country is about $11.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
So,
And it's a regular production cigar.
just it's one I've never seen. If you want to know the truth, you know.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that we've found throughout the years at Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest that, after the festival, we get into our bag and it's like, I didn't see this when we were going through the catalog on our cigars, but just wonderful cigars.
Well, I think that's what happened with this one too, is you guys just found that in your bag.
Well, yeah, but that one's known to me particularly. That is the Chupacabra by Esteban Carreras. That cigar came out about 8 to 9 years ago. The unique thing about that one, I don't know the full blend. Sorry, I technically have a tablet at my fingertips, but it's got my cigar on it. The unique thing about the Esteban Carreras Chupacabra is it has Ometepe Oscuro tobacco in it. That's grown on an island in a volcanic lake in Nicaragua. And that volcanic soil gives the cigar some nice cocoa notes to it that you usually pick up on the after on it.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's a great stick.
This is a great stick.
And it's one that's a big seller at my home lounge at Tobacco Republic, and the Esteban Carreras line works really well there. Now I picked...
I know what yours is.
I know what yours is too, one of our favorites.
And one of our friends, too.
A very close friend. We love you, Enrique.
Yes, this one is the 1502 by Global Premium Cigars. The 1502 celebrates the year that Nicaragua was founded, if I remember correctly.
Founded by Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, it's been a while since I heard that story from Enrique, but this one is the 1502 Black Gold Conquistador. It is truly, there's nothing 1502 puts out that sucks.
No,
They're all
1502
great.
is a stellar line, absolutely stellar line.
That's the black?
This one's the black.
That's
yes.
actually my
black
favorite
label.
one from 1502.
Yeah, it is a Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper with Nicaraguan binder and Nicaraguan filler. Enrique's thing is, do you like Nicaraguan tobacco? If the answer is yes, you're going to love these sticks.
Oh, yes.
If the answer is no, smoke it anyway.
Absolutely right.
You will be converted.
And if you're not, you're the one with the problem. But nonetheless, we hope to see him at Rocky Mountain, which, gentlemen, by the way, is only,
6 weeks away.
That's about right.
No. 10 weeks.
10 weeks
10
away.
weeks away.
Yeah, we got about 2.5 months before we're on our way to Denver to entertain you, the viewing public. God, why do you watch?
Wow.
For the entertainment
For
value,
the entertainment
of course.
value. But it's it's fun. It's Will's first time.
Yes.
He's heard us babble on about it for years now.
Yeah, you guys have been teasing me every year.
So what are you looking forward to this year?
There's a lot of stuff to look forward to, but I really am looking forward to the interaction with the vendors. I want to see what all the vendors are. You guys come back, like with this one, I've never heard of this. And it's a great stick. So just being able to talk to them, see what their blends are, see maybe what their thought pattern was, how they decided to come up with it. They all have stories, and that's one of the things I love about this. It's not a habit, it's a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby.
So what I love about this hobby is that there's so many great stories in it. And if you take the time to have conversations with people, you really get some neat stories out of it. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, and I think, that's realistically, that's the way the three of us all met.
Yeah.
I met both of you, was sitting in a cigar lounge having conversations and talking. And I think that's what the cigar is, the perfect vehicle for that.
It is. Truly is.
You stop, you slow down, you enjoy the smoke, you enjoy your adult beverage, and you converse with people. I mean, yeah, half the time our head's down on our phone, but we're still talking to each other.
Yeah, not always.
Well, usually when our heads are down in our phone, it's because we're getting information about other cigars.
That or somebody called bullshit, and we're all frantically trying to look it up.
I got Google. I'm going to prove that wrong.
But you know, there's obviously the vendors, which is it's so much fun. But the atmosphere is also fun too. You've got 3,000 between the vendors and all the attendees, and the staff there from Smoker Friendly.
And we've made so many friends from all across the United States, Canada. Of course, there are people that have come. I haven't met too many of them. I have met people that were in from Europe one time. That was 2 years ago. It was just in passing, but just knowing, meeting people from all over the country and the friendships that we've developed. Hi guys from Canada.
Do they watch my program, I hope?
I believe so.
Where's Kilted from?
Kilted Clan is, Mike Koning is out of
Scotland?
somewhere near close enough where he's a Chiefs fan, so he's somewhere over there, Kansas City, something like that. Vinny is in Indiana. I'm not sure where the other guys are at, but they're all about about a 10-hour drive or so from Denver.
Well, that's not too bad. I thought they were all abroad for some reason.
No, they're not
Or
abroad.
across the pond, rather.
You're all Republicans trapped in Democratic areas. I hope.
And then we have our Canuckian friends.
Yeah, they come down there.
They come down. They're going to be there again this year. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Last year they had quite a few. Not only were the guys from the RCMP there, but they had a local police officers that enjoy cigars. Also came down. There was about 8 of them last year. And they were all having a ball, absolute ball.
And it's just a fun event. 3,000 people, all vibing about cigars. What scares me this year is it's a week early. Oh, it could be hotter than all hell out there tomorrow, this time. But we'll have a good time anyway. Just got to remember to drink lots of water.
Well, that's one of your treats that you get in your goodie bag. They give you a water ball, and they have refills. They got, what, five water refill stations? There's
Only
one in the
one.
hotel. No, there's one at the top, one at the bottom. No, there's 3.
There might be. Last year there wasn't one up at the top. It was just down at the bottom. Yeah. And there might have been one in the hotel, but I didn't ever go into the hotel.
Yeah, well, right next to the media center and the executive VIP and exhibitor door.
Mm-hmm.
There's a water station right there.
Oh, that's at the base. Yeah,
For how many people?
3,000 people.
And you have 3 confirmed water stations that I'm seeing here?
Last year there was only one that I saw, but there's usually 2. It's usually not a problem because most people are drinking alcohol, not water. And being a first responder yourself, alcohol and 100-degree heat don't mix well.
Well, no, that's what I was thinking. And is it chilled or is it room temp?
Oh, no, it's chilled. It comes out of the machine cold. Yeah, it goes through a refrigeration process before you get it.
I think my stupid thing has been covering up the mic, so hopefully they've been hearing me a little bit.
Oh,
Well, we'll see.
So I moved it.
Yeah. But it's so much fun. It's a good time. And
I'm really looking forward to it.
yeah, you won't have a bad time, I don't think.
And then you have a person coming with you,
Chantel
who's
McKinney.
in northern Idaho, and
It'll be her second
I
trip.
spoke with her on our video hearse. I've never got to meet her,
Oh, it's going to be
and I
year.
think it's just going to be a hoot. So just being able to meet more friends and talk and have those stories and so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's not just, the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. If you really get into what's going to happen once we get there, it's visiting the lounges the night before her party with Rocky Patel and Drew Estate.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Chantal and I leave Sunday because she has to go back to work, and
Sure.
I have other issues that have to be addressed.
Sure.
But it's the whole environment. It's a total package. It's not just the party.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Havana Manor out in Longmont. It's a wonderful lounge when the sink stays on the wall. Go back to Rocky Mountain Recap 2022,
I watched
and
that.
you can check that one out on what
That
happened.
was so funny.
You and Johnny, when you guys were out there, found
Casbar.
Casbar Lounge. That's over in Louisville.
That's over in Louisville. That's correct.
That's a nice little lounge. There are cigar lounges in downtown Denver, but I'll be honest with you, Will. When I go to this trip, downtown Denver is a pass-through to and from the airport, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I have been to the one downtown.
The one downtown, funny that, the one I know of, particularly downtown, Brown Palace Hotel.
No. This is the one downtown by the park.
Okay, different one then.
Yeah, it's owned as a husband and wife, but it's a 2-story lounge with a loft upstairs outside that you can smoke out when the weather's really nice. Very friendly people. Substantial humidor, pretty good selection, but the people that are working there very knowledgeable about their cigars and very customer oriented. I mean, just they want to get to know you.
Yeah.
What brings you to Denver? How can we make your trip better? And of course, more cigars.
Yeah, keep it up. Well, it's funny because the one that I know of in downtown Denver is a bar. It's called the Churchill Bar inside the Brown Palace Hotel. So I expect you to kick the freaking door open and go, "I'm Mr. Brown. What the hell are you all doing in my hotel?" The Churchill Bar in the Brown Palace Hotel has cigars. I'm going to tell you all, if you ever visit it, they have a limited selection of a few lines. They do not mind if you bring your own cigars if you're drinking.
Perfect.
If you're buying drinks from the bar, they have no
care
problem
less.
with you cutting and lighting your own cigar. That's the only thing they ask is support them with beverages, or like we always say, if your proper etiquette is not to smoke your own cigars at a lounge, but if you do, at least buy a couple of sticks from the owner there, even if you're going to smoke your own. Retail space is expensive, and you got to support them.
You got to support the local brick and mortars.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what That's what the catalyst is for the Idaho Cigar Cartel is support your local brick and mortar.
Right. Now, we're not going to talk about his podcast yet because he hasn't started yet.
No.
We'll get there.
But let's talk about yours for a little bit because you're on episode, I think 4.
I think so.
Coming out.
Yep. Very quickly.
So what's the dealio?
Well, look, I mean, anybody that knows me knows that I was a support chaplain for many years. So I have a bit of a spiritual background of a Christian faith. And I started off wanting to express some of that because I'm not seeing a lot of that. It seems like a lot of that is either you're Christian and you don't have cigars, or you have cigars and you're not Christian and nobody cross mingles them. And that's just not how I work at all.
Right.
Because I dealt with emergency management and first responders a lot, I've had many a cigar with people really needing conversation on the back watch deck, waiting to go to a fire or waiting to go out and roll out as a police officer. So it was just one of those pastimes that, we really enjoyed. And so I've been able to kind of commingle my website a bit for that. And so I'm doing more and more cigar reviews.
Right. He's actually, if you know, not to interrupt you,
Sure.
but he's actually does 99% of the cigar reviews for the Beyond the Humidor podcast and the Loomis Cigar Cartel website is Mr. Brown.
And we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's something. I have a little bit of a different style. I would like to think than maybe what I've seen out there. I wanted to be different because clearly I am. And then also on my website, I also kind of gear towards what to do with this whole midlife thing. And that's kind of where I've been focused lately. But I kind of want to be able to have ebbs and flows on my website and on my podcast. I don't think it's going to be just one thing. I think we're just going to throw random things at it and just kind of see where it is.
Kind of like spaghetti. Throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks.
Exactly. I'm glad you said spaghetti and not something else there.
Wow. Well, one of the things that I like on the way you write your cigar reviews is it is definitely different. And I encourage everybody, either go to brownslife.com and look for Smoky Moments at the Oasis, or go to loomiscigarcartel.com. Click on the Humidor Talk page. All his reviews are on there. Smoky Moment at the Oasis logo's on there, so you'll know which ones they are. And his reviews are a story. So they're a great read, even on their own. Forget the cigar review. They're a great read. They're entertaining. They're funny.
They're
I know
fun.
exactly when Brown's talking about him. So, you know.
Would I do that?
Oh, yes, you would.
Did I do that?
Yeah. But, you know, the other thing, too, is, you know, we're sitting in your cigar lounge, podcast studio, and entertainment room at your home.
That's right.
So, you know, tell me a little bit about it as we sit here.
Well, I wanted to cheat, and so when we acquired this place, we have a shop that's out back, and as you can tell by my wing, I don't do a lot of things that require shopping anymore, but I needed a place where I could just have sanctuary, and so I came and started creating this area to kind of be the smoky oasis, if you will, and so I come out here, and we have friends over, and we have a great time. You can't really see it because of the way we're set up right now, but I've got, it's more of a lounge setting. I've got chairs and a couch and a TV behind us, and we really enjoy ourselves out here. But it's a place out of the house, but still here locally, so it's worked out very well for us.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I like to add on to it, this private lounges or smoking areas for people that we know, this was probably the first one in the Boise area, and it has basically catalyzed a number of other people with your vision.
It has.
For what they're doing, and what they're doing is just absolutely spectacular.
Oh, I think it's great.
I mean, it's a real key. It gives a lot of people a lot of great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the room that you have, but
that's okay. You
But
can do that anywhere.
the whole thing is the concept, like your cigar top or your cigar box wall.
Yeah.
And I know where you got that idea from, but that's beside the point.
So, for me, it's just a great place to kind of just get away and relax at the end of a day, or even during the day. This is kind of my office as well, so the stuff that I'm creating, I create out here, and I don't have to disrupt the household of what's going on. And so it was important to me to be able to still have my own place and kind of be able to do this as I want.
Yeah. There's just one small downside. And for those of you that have paid attention to the news in the past, we're still waiting for an Alaskan Airlines door to fall into his backyard. He is just
Not too
off
far
the
from the
flight
airport.
path
I am a little
from
bit,
the airport.
I am a little bit off the flight path for sure.
I think it's only probably less than half a mile.
No, it's more than that.
No, it's more than
Is
that.
it more than that?
It's about 2 miles to the end of the
It's
runway.
probably a couple miles.
Well, no, the runway's, a couple miles that way, but I'm
Yeah.
saying the takeoff, the departure approach and the approach in when they're coming in on this side, we're maybe only half a mile that way.
Your 90-degree tangent's less than a half mile.
And
Yeah.
it's funny during fire season, they'll fly helicopters so low it shakes the whole building. It's great.
Bring in the big 130s.
Oh yeah, but
And they are when they come off, literally when they come off the deck going north, you swear up and down they're going to hit the trees. I mean, they
I
are
don't know how
that.
they haven't hit the trees over there a couple
Exactly.
times.
And it's just, and you feel them. Boy,
yeah.
do you feel them.
Yeah, you'll know. I haven't had any of the military boys fly over today yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Now that I've said that, we're going to have a small invasion go over the top of the shop.
Full afterburners.
You may have heard a couple of the jets go by. That's
Yeah.
either Southwest or Alaska. That's the predominant two that fly out of here the most. You've also got United and Delta, some small hops in here, but predominantly it's Southwest and Alaska.
Didn't we see the one? That was
There was a Legion.
Legion.
Yeah.
I was going to say Norwegian, but I didn't sound right.
Legion.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Norwegian airline in a long time.
And we've had some Spirit fly through here, but I haven't seen them much. Mm-hmm. And we're the main hub, so you get the huge ones for FedEx and UPS.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a nice area. If you guys are ever thinking about coming up here, I really suggest you do. It's a great town. There's a lot of fun things to do in Boise. There's a lot of fun things to do in Meridian. The farther away from those two you get, the more rural it gets, the more you get concerned about the area you're going into, because they're severely Republican to the point of madness.
No.
No.
Yes.
No, they're severely.
But if you're a Democrat,
I think what you're
Ada County is for you.
I think what you're trying to say is that once you land here and you get out of the airport, that you just take a deep breath in and just understand that there is still some places in this country that represent freedom,
Yes.
and we use it.
Yes. Concerningly so. In some cases, but you know,
Whatever.
it's very pretty. This, you know, obviously here we're in downtown Boise. We're just
close.
off of downtown Boise.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
You know, when you get up to Tommy's place, Tommy has a very nice 5-acre farm up in Parma, which is an hour north of here.
That's correct.
And you know, he's got his nice little pond. He's got his water wheel.
Love it.
Have the horses come back yet?
I've got two of them there. Well, I've got one of the, you know, the last girl,
Yeah.
Greta's there, and
Well, so they have a reference of Greta that we're talking about. Tell them what you used to do, would you?
my wife and I in California owned one of the largest horse and carriage for hire companies known as Vintage Carriage Company. We were a premier special event horse and carriage for hire company, and we probably did well over 150, maybe 175 weddings a year, and that's, you know, Friday, Saturdays. There are only 50 weeks, 50 weekends in a year. And with special events like Christmas parades and parties, and we had the contract with Robert Mondavi Wineries for their Christmas party, and gave rides there, and we specialized in ethnic weddings. We did a lot of East Indian weddings, and of course in their culture, sorry ladies, but it's not about you, it's about the groom.
India as in the country?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then you know what the aircraft taking off remind me of? Inevitably, when we first started recording the show, for the first couple of years we were doing it on a Saturday morning. Every morning, halfway through the show, one
Here
of
comes
his
that
asshole
train.
coworkers is rolling through the town of Loomis, laying on that horn like it's important.
Because it's federal law.
But
They
yeah,
must-
but I'm
There's a
recording.
federal law in California to stop his podcast. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah. Well, it's so that so stupid shits don't try and go across the level crossings.
Yeah,
when the
if
train's
people
going by.
didn't drive stupid over the railroad crossings, we wouldn't have to blow the whistle.
Yeah, but they're only going to do it once. It's
Oh, no, they'll do it a bunch of times.
called
but
natural
we'll sta-
selection, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Darwin syndrome.
Well, we've gotten deep into this. Thoughts, Tommy, on that La Polina?
It's a pleasant cigar. I've never smoked one. It's wonderful. It's a good smoke, nice and even. There's not a lot of roller coaster, but there is flavor changes.
Right.
The smoke is a little bit. For me, it's a little bit drier than what I've grown accustomed to, but it's a full body smoke, but in a medium cigar,
Right.
and it's not harsh at all. Not harsh at all. I'm truly enjoying this, and hopefully they're going to be at Rocky Mountain, because I think I might have to buy me a box.
La Polina should be there. They usually are.
I sure
Now,
hope
you
so.
used a term. It's funny this came up because you used a term today to say dry.
Yes.
Will and I were talking about dry yesterday, while Tommy was sitting there going.
No,
Now, mind you, in his defense, it was set up Carolyn's pool. Carolyn's Will's wife and the boss, and she wanted a swimming pool.
that is the new plastic pond.
Whatever.
But anyway, he's got a
I'm
pool now.
not putting koi in it for her.
Yeah. But anyway, so we were setting that up, and it was fucking hotter than shit yesterday
Oh, my
over here.
God.
It was ridiculous. But nonetheless,
Yeah, it was pushing 100 degrees.
you and I forget what we were smoking yesterday, but we had that same experience. As we're smoking, it's very much reminiscent in the way that red wine dries the palate.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it's same thing, right?
I know. I can't now. In my defense, I'm allergic to alcohol. I cannot drink. I go into respiratory arrest. But
Quick, get the bottle.
choke on it, will you? But
Yeah.
you know, but by description of people, as Greg was just describing it, it's like the red wine, where it does dry out your palate. And a lot of the cigars that I smoke, and it's not a bad thing that it makes your mouth moist. I enjoy it because with the moisture in my mouth, I get better flavor from the smoke because I can taste what is in the smoke. But this is a little bit drier where I can still taste the smoke, but it's not lip smacking.
So I think my question yesterday was, in contemplating what is it that makes it dry, is there is a reference to a lot of cigars where it tastes leathery.
I think that might be what
And
it
I
is.
think that's the same description that people are using. There is a leather flavor in some of them. This one has a little bit of it. This has a little bit more of the chocolatey notes that I really enjoy. It's more of a deep chocolatey, which is interesting because it doesn't strike me as a Maduro, but it's definitely a good medium stick. But I'm wondering if it's the more leathery flavor profile that you get, if it's not also considered a drier flavor, if you will.
Yeah, point well taken.
Could be. Now, how about you with that new to you Esteban Carrera's Chupacabra?
I would like to find these.
I know where they are.
This would be one I would stick in my humidor.
I know where they are.
And stick into my rotation. It's a really good. I don't like all box pressed. This is a box pressed, and but because of the flavor profile, it's very well balanced. It has not. I mean, I'm only probably a third of the way through it, but it hasn't really changed flavors on me or.
Because there are some cigars that we have, and we've talked about it, where
absolutely.
just like riding a roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one puff is here and next puff is there, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, with the chocolate undernotes of this, for me, it's a deep, rich flavor.
Almost a German chocolate,
Kinda, but it's not.
it's not sweet.
No,
not
it's
real
not-
sweet.
I don't do sweet,
It's just
but-
the kind of like German chocolate powder.
But it's a, maybe, but it's a very full flavor, which I really like. And the smoke has been great. I haven't had any problems with it.
No touch-ups on mine either.
Nope, and
They're all burning
It's
very
very
well.
even. For me, it's even. They joke with me because it's like I smoke a canoe in some of these things where only the top half seems to come out, and then I'm stuck. But
And we want to know when he's going to pull the oars out.
exactly, yeah, and whatever. But this one's actually burning really evenly. The smoke gives me enough smoke to enjoy, and even expressing it, it's great. It's not. I don't get that peppery that I get in some, because some of them get a little sharp, a little spicy, if you will. I'm not getting any of that with this. It's just been a well-balanced cigar.
And I don't know if many of you can see, depending on the camera angle, right behind Mr. Brown is his new walk-up his stand-up humidor. Tell me a little bit about that, because I know you two created this thing, because it's a little bit of design from Tommy made a humidor at his house, and you went a little bit bigger.
A little
oh
bigger
my
and a
God.
whole lot beautiful.
Well, it used to be a large size refrigerated wine
It
cooler.
was a double door wine cooler is what
Right.
it was.
And I'd had my eye on it for quite some time. This place is really good at wanting to sell things.
How come every time we go to you, the plane leaves?
It knows it's my area. Oh, he's trying to talk. Great. Launch the planes. No, and so I finally had it go to a price that I appreciated it, but the thought pattern behind it was how you had set up one of yours, actually, up there in Parma.
And well, what is going on with us is we have ours outdoors, so you have to
Yeah.
have a way to keep the temperature constant
Right.
on a 100-degree day.
Right.
Oh, hell, not just a 100-degree day, on a freaking 0-degree fucking morning, too.
Well, I was getting to that.
Yeah, we got this.
Cool.
Yeah, we've had a few of those too.
So because of the way this one's designed, it's actually got its refrigeration system in it, so I didn't have to worry about cooling it.
And it was operational.
Yeah, and it was 68,
You know-
70 yesterday when it was 100 and something in here.
Yep.
and it was fine all winter.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little heater in there as well, and then I've got a way of keeping the humidification.
We use a
correctly.
reptile environment controller
Yep.
for the air conditioning for the summer and the heat in the winter,
Yeah.
and the humidity is standalone.
Right.
So it
You know,
that works great.
You guys both have the Oasis 3.0 system.
That is
I
correct.
do, yes.
Yeah. Highly recommend it. My
Absolutely.
stand-up humidor
Definitely.
is inside, so I have a traditional one, so I don't worry about the heat and cold, but I too use the Oasis 3.0. I can't speak highly enough about that system. It works typically
Phenomenal.
right out of the box. They're set at between 68 and 70% humidity, and keep it happy with distilled water, and it'll care for your cigars for many years to come.
Yeah, I check it mine at least once a week. I probably every week and a half. When the water line disappears and all you got is water in the beads, that's when I add my water. And then we were talking about the humidors. I built that one that went to George,
Right?
which was also an old, and a lot of times going on Facebook, you find people whose units, the compressors quit or something's gone wrong with it, and they're just getting rid of them. You can get them for like $100
Yeah.
and build a wonderful humidor for it.
Especially if a wine cooler makes a great humidor, even if it doesn't work. Because when you're talking about buying a stand-up humidor, you're talking about something that's going to be a minimum $1,300 investment,
minimum.
and that's for a smaller one, like I have.
Not for that one. It would.
No, for a smaller one,
That's like
I
a
have.
mini refrigerator.
Yeah, because I've got
that one would be probably
3.5
$4,000 or
foot.
That'd be
No.
$4,000 or $5,000 there.
But that cooler, if the guts don't work, it's not a big deal because you've got your shelving in it all ready to go. You just put a humidification unit in the bottom. It can sit inside your house as long as your house is constant temperature. You'll be good.
Well, with Will's, the problem with Will's is that he had what we call a stick frame for wine bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not conducive for cigars.
Right.
So with his had the entire guts had to come out, but of course all your lining and everything stayed in there.
Right.
And then our good friend Nick, who's a
No, it wasn't Nick.
Well, Nick, it was
Neil.
Neil was able to measure and get some nice cedar for the decking on there, and it was just
Yeah, it's worked out great.
it's
I just
beautiful.
checked right now. It's 70 and 70, so it's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm a little bit different from you guys.
Well, you
I
don't
know-
live in the middle of the freaking desert.
No,
We do.
but you two both keep it at 70 and 70,
That's
which is
correct.
the ideal. That's the exact ideal temperature. I like my cigars held at Cuban humidity.
68.
So I like mine between 65 and 68%, which is where my machine fluctuates at. So
I could always turn mine down.
you don't have to.
No,
yours
it'd
is
be
happy.
easy. It'd be easy.
So it's just my personal preference of the way I like my sticks at home. And, I have a little shelf in here for sticks for when I come up here
Yep.
that I keep in there.
You got
Tommy's got a little spot.
Yep, you guys
Because
have your spot.
this humidor, seriously, folks, you can see it over his shoulder, is ginormous.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice
It
and
truly
lit.
is a work of art.
We worked really hard on that.
Especially compared
only
to that little postage stamp you had before.
Well, and for me, I have kept them a little bit more humid in there because of being in the desert. There's no humidity here.
Yeah, the only time I
And so
see
you
it
take-
being
you-
bad days is thunderstorms.
All right, so you take a stick out and you light it and you step away for a brief moment and you come back and your stick is pooched because there's not quite enough humidity.
We actually did a test at that at Tobacco Republic. I know you're familiar with them. You should be too because they do have them at the vault. The Leaf by Oscar.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
wrapped in a tobacco leaf.
Right.
So the purveyor of Tobacco Republic, we're talking about humidity one day and why it's important. So the purveyor of Tobacco Republic goes in the back, grabs one of those outer leaves that they use to, essentially it's
The wrapper.
the cello, but they're using tobacco
Right.
leaf instead of cello. It's a brilliant idea. He,
And a
Beg your
wonderful
pardon.
cigar, too.
he very carefully unrolls the leaf
Yeah.
and he says, now, he goes, outside in Sacramento Valley, for those of you that don't live there, it's very much like Boise in the summertime. But it's actually hotter and more miserable than Boise in the summertime because up here it's dry heat. But anyway, our humidity level is on a good day around 10 to 12% in the summer.
Where?
Sacramento area.
Down your area.
Right.
Yeah, so he took the leaf out of the humidor, the big walk-in humidor, and he laid it on the table right inside the smoking lounge.
Right.
Just laid it out in the open for half an hour. After that half an hour was over, he picked it up and crunched it, and it literally
crumbled to
crumbled and
sawdust.
fell apart in
It
his
looked
hand.
like sawdust when he was done.
And what he was trying to explain is that, especially when you're talking a Connecticut wrapper leaf, more so,
Very delicate cigars.
yeah, and they're thin. The darker the leaf, the more Maduro the leaf gets, usually the more thicker and resilient that leaf is, so they hold
Got a
the
little
moisture
more
better.
oil. Got a little more oil in them.
But here's the tip for Connecticut's. What the purveyor was saying is, if he knows the humidity is really low and he wants to enjoy a Connecticut, he will take a paper towel. He will get the paper towel wet. He will wring the ever-loving shit out of it.
Yeah, you don't want too much.
You don't want
wet.
it damp.
you
You
know,
want it
you
wet
want-
but dry.
You want it humid.
Yeah.
Yes.
He'll wrap the cigar in it for 10 minutes or so. He'll take the cigar out. He'll let it stand for a few minutes, especially if the cigar has gotten a little damp. He lets it sit for a little bit. Then he does his cut and his light. That extra little bit of humidity will prevent your cigar from blowing up on you longer.
Yeah,
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
and it works.
Yeah, it does.
I've done when I've visited the Sacramento area. I have taken the time to go get a paper towel and do that on a cigar that, when you look at it, it's like you can see the delicate wrapper, and it's like the only way, as Greg was saying, the only way that you're going to keep it together is if it is able to keep some moisture in that thing, because the minute it gets dry, it's like everything else. It starts pulling, starts cracking, and then everything just blows up on you.
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those where you just can't do it. I've got there's a brand out there. It's Byron, and the other brand is Atabe. They are the closest thing you're going to get to Cubans in the United States. There's a long process that we've gone into on previous episodes of how they get them here, but it's Cuban tobacco. They're pretty pricey. Even here in Idaho, they're pretty pricey. And if you want to find those and you're in the Idaho area watching the broadcast, Stearman's Garden City. Is it still in business?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Stearman's Garden City. I found Atabes there, several sizes, including my favorite, the Lancero. Be prepared to pay a price for them.
I think they've got them over at the new Stearman's too.
At the new
Stearman
Eagle store has
The new
them, too.
Stearman's Eagle?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're in their
Yeah, and they're
upper line closet.
And their humidor's bigger.
But be
They
prepared.
have got a wonderful line.
You're going to pay a premium, guys.
Oh yeah.
They're about $50 a stick.
Oh yeah.
But for a celebratory cigar, for a mourning as in sadness, someone passed or something on that cigar, for a college graduation, for a wedding, something like that,
Baby.
spend a little money. Enjoy yourself. You deserve it. If you're in mourning for someone, spend a little bit more on yourself to enjoy the relaxation and the peace that it brings to you. You deserve it.
Well, that brings up a good point. And Leilani's celebration of life, we went my father,
Lebehu.
Le
Bijou.
Bijou 100s. And every time I see the box in a store, I will gravitate to grab one and smoke just to remember.
Yeah.
Yep, big group of us were there for that.
Yes, you were.
Well, some
And I
of
appreciate.
some of us have to work and can't get up here as often as we would like
It's
to.
okay.
You were here in spirit.
Yeah, we
But anyway, we got tangent on that one. Those two brands, Byron and Atabe, that technique with the paper towel is almost a necessity because their wrapper leaves are so delicate that, particularly at home, I can light the cigar, and 10 or 15 minutes after lighting the cigar, you hear that dreaded pop, and it's game over.
Yep.
But do you give up?
Nope.
I sure as hell don't. I power through that sumbitch and let it explode if I have to.
I think I would recommend if you're going to do that, however, to make sure that you're not doing a tap water. You're doing like
Distilled.
distilled water
distilled
only.
water. That's correct.
Maybe spring water, I don't know, but distilled water preferably. You just don't want all the chemically crap or
Well,
the
Ron's
chlorine.
got a triple filter water
Yeah.
tap that
But,
all his.
but chlorine will
units-
wipe out a lot of the
Oh,
flavor
yeah.
if you're not careful. So
Yeah.
Now, a point that was just brought up on that. Now, do not take your towel and wrap it and then stick it back in the humidor and think that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Stick what back in there?
The cigar, thinking that you can wrap it up in a paper towel to keep it moist and put it back in your humidor,
Wrapped up.
wrapped up
Yeah,
in the
that's not
paper
gonna
towel.
work.
No, that's no bueno. No.
No, it's going to go poorly. But, there's a lot. The humidor is designed to hold the tobacco at the chosen temperature, and that's where it needs to be. And if you guys, you're sitting here going, well, they're talking about these cabinet humidors that they've got, but I have a little desktop humidor. Aha! I have a solution for you all. I am by no means sponsored by this company. They do not sponsor this show. In fact, nobody sponsors this show. But
But if you want to
I
sponsor
was
the
going to say,
show,
but you're welcome to
sponsorship opportunities are available. That being said, in my in my desktop humidors, because I have more cigars, frankly, than fit in my stand-up, I brought one of them with me. I use the Bovita packs.
The big ones.
They have 67, 68, 70, 72, and they have even lower ones for pipe tobacco and other products.
and guitars.
And guitars and all that stuff, but they are literally
Only boutique ones, though.
open the package, throw the little puck in there, the little baggie in there, and let it go. The big ones, which are about yay square, they're about 3.5 by 5 inch packages. Those are good for up to 50 cigars,
If you're going to
and
go
they have
100
the
or 200,
300
throw 2 or 3 of them in there.
right? Or they have the 320 gram, which is a box that is about 6 by 4. That is designed for 100 plus cigars. If you only want to use one,
Inches.
yeah,
6 by 4
inches. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they call it a 320 gram pack. They come in only at 70s, but it gives you options. And I'm telling you guys, it is way easier to use the Bovita packs to control your humidor than it is to deal with the other products on the market.
Also, in the box that you use, make sure that you don't just put it in a Rubbermaid. Get a good tote box with a rubber seal.
Yep.
You want it airtight,
Yep. There's one right over there off camera.
right there.
I bought mine at Home Depot. It's a Husky tote. They're red with a clear lid, and they got a rubber gasket.
And they
work
are
great
beautiful.
because that particular tote right there has all of my cigars I got for Rocky Mountain last year. It has not been open since Rocky Mountain last year.
And
I brought it up here today, this
Bovita
weekend.
pack was still soft.
Yeah, Will, how was that Bovita pack?
Squishy.
Brand new like it was out of the package. So they work, and they work great. They're great long-term storage solutions. That doesn't mean you shouldn't check them often.
God, this is a good cigar.
Isn't it, though?
I might have to write a review. Anyways, I was actually really surprised at how well that worked for a tote like that.
Yeah.
That really shocked me. And I know this just came out of it, and this is a great stick, but
Well-
I'm shocked at how well those have kept humidification, and you haven't done anything since at least last year this time.
Last year, this time, yeah. Last year, August.
That's crazy.
So we're talking, what, 7 months?
Almost 8.
Roughly, almost 8.
Almost
so,
8.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I just lost my train of thought. Crap.
Bovita pack,
The
boxes,
Bovita packs,
totes.
so you haven't had to mess with that thing in a year.
Right, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So
Toot toot.
my loyal listeners know, these two certainly know, I hoard certain lines of cigars.
1 or 2.
Yeah, I can't get them anymore.
But I hoard this line, right? And there is one tote at my house. It's a ginormous tote, same Husky red lid, clear red
about
tote,
4 times
lid,
bigger.
but about 4 times bigger than that. Exclusively this one line, and I've got a couple of my specialty Davs that I bought, Davidoff cigars, in there as well. But I've got 6 of the 320 gram big Bovitas. Same thing. I rarely open that tote. They've been in there for nearly a year. The bags are still soft. The humidity's that good, and the tote, really, the tote's airtight. So, if you're looking for something, I mean, let's face it. The cigar hobby is not cheap. The toys are expensive. The cigars tend to be on the expensive side. Humidors are a bit of expensive. If you're looking for a cheap solution, I think that's really one thing I can say. Hey, go down to Home Depot, get yourself one of those Husky totes, use it. Why not? As long as it will hold humidity for you in your chosen location, you'll be fine.
I know a number of people that have what would be referred to as a display humidor with a glass front that, this is where the guys can go to when they're over and, grab a cigar. But their specialty stuff, the stuff they personally want in their rotation or just to have, is kept in a tote in their closet. And
To be honest with you, I would probably store mine that way, normally. But because this is a central place that people come to all the time, it makes sense to have that. If you're not going to have people over all the time and you don't want to mess with having to buy a machine or whatever, the tote system would work great. That's how I started, was just
that's how you started.
And I bought mine from another company, I shall remain nameless, but they sell inexpensive totes, and they're rubber lined. And actually, when I
Rubber sealed,
excuse me, not rubber lined. And another one that I've used, believe it or not, is an ammo can. Those things are literally bulletproof, right? And you put a Bovita pack at the bottom of one of those, and you can fit, I don't know, depending on the can, at least
40 or 50 cigars in there.
And it works great because they are meant to keep things dry, so they're airtight.
Well, they're meant to keep moisture out. In this case, you want to keep moisture in, and it works great.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options if you don't want to buy a humidor, and that's each person's preference is different. I mean,
each person's situation is different also. Like I said, if you got a small refrigerator, but you got a large collection, you don't have to go to a big humidor, just the ones that you want to daily use, put in your regular humidor, and the stuff that you aren't going to touch for 6 months, stick it in your tote.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
True. Well, before we wind up here, final thoughts on your Polina?
I'm loving it. No, not a single touch up. The burn line is even. We were talking about flavor changes. I've had about 2 flavor changes. It's nice and smooth. It's kind of like rolling hills out here in Idaho. And we got a few of those.
Around your house we do. Down here it's flat.
Well, we butt up against the mountains. Ski resort's right there, about 40 minutes.
True.
But here it's flat.
Here in the Upper Treasure Valley?
It's flat. In the Upper Treasure Valley, yes.
And I know you were talking about possibly writing a review for that one, but what's your thoughts on that?
I'm just now in the process of having a flavor change.
What's that like, since people may be curious?
Well, it was very chocolatey and deep. Right now, I'm actually getting, not quite a citrus note, but something to that effect that I'm still trying to figure out.
A little floral coming in?
It's not really floral.
Not
it's more
floral?
of a citrus to me, but I'll have to play with it a little bit.
No, I've had a couple of cigars that I've had, you think it's citrus, but it's more like orange blossom.
Yes, that's fair.
You got a little hint of floral to it, but it's not as citrusy like an orange.
Yeah.
But it's, it's a combination of what it was before it becomes.
Yeah. I'm still not getting any peppery. I'm still not getting any of that weird leathery flavor that is good, but not in this one. And it's just starting to get some other notes to it, but
it's been producing great smoke.
Yeah, it's a great stick. I really enjoy it.
Producing great smoke.
Nice. Well, obviously on the 1502, I mean, it doesn't help that I know Enrique, so take this out of the equation here. But truly, even these two can testify. The 1502 line, nothing is bad.
Nothing.
He produces phenomenal tobacco. The sticks are great. Your myriad of choices of sizes, including my personal favorite, the Lancero, is available.
And the XOs.
Yeah, that's a whole show by itself.
Yes, it is.
But
I have a hard time finding those.
I know where they're at.
So do I.
But, one of the things I can tell you is it's this one, because it has that San Andreas wrapper, it's a stout Maduro. Would I call it a full-bodied cigar? No. but it's full flavored. It's got a deep, rich flavor to it. It's very minerally, very smoky. It produces a great volume of smoke. You know, Larry and I and Scott, that's one of our biggest things is, does the cigar produce enough smoke? And
Right.
I mean, it's just a flavor profile. It's good.
And I agree. I've had some cigars that
You struggle.
you smoke and there's nothing. It's like sucking the straw with nothing coming out of it. It's just bizarre. So I appreciate it when it gives good smoke.
And then another thing I will tell you guys, with like 1502, with like Apostate, which you've all heard of us talk about, those smaller brands, if your brick and mortar doesn't carry them, it doesn't take much to go up to your tobacconist and go, hey, I heard about this cigar. Is it something that you've looked at? PCA is obviously not for another year. It's not until April next year, but if it's a line that you're interested in, if you get enough people talking about it, you know, your tobacconist can hopefully bring it in. I know Enrique from 1502, Brandon and Kendra from Apostate, they love to get new accounts set up. They love to get new shops.
And Brian and Sebastian.
Cavalier.
Cavalier.
That's a new one too. In fact, guys, go to LumaCigarCartel.com. Click on the Humidor Talk section. Check out Brown's review of the new Cavalier Broadleaf Skywalker. I personally have not smoked it yet, but these two have.
But he has some of them.
Yes,
He's got
I do.
them. He just hasn't had a chance to get to them yet.
It was rather enjoyable.
Very enjoyable cigar.
So, you know, it's one to look for. And I will tell you guys, if you get a hankering going, oh, I like Cavalier, I love that stick, it's only 500 boxes and it's only a one-time run. So get them now if you can find them. It's a great stick. I would like to make one note here before we run out. I did get a little bit of fan mail, guys. Don't worry, I will get to that on the next show because obviously I don't have my normal trio here with me. They all have something to do. You know, Gorilla is on his way to Kansas right now. He just posted it's his second day leaving Salt Lake, heading towards Kansas. Scott,
I hope he got to go to Beehive while he was there.
he's doing that on the way home.
On his way home,
On the
great.
way home, yeah.
Beehive?
He's going to have a great time
Yeah.
at Beehive there in Utah.
And then Scott and Sue are celebrating their anniversary in Las Vegas.
Congratulations, congratulations.
And their birthdays, old man.
Yay, old man.
And then
Why'd you
know-
look at me when you said that?
Habit.
Oh.
Habit. So for those of you that have sent us some fan mail, it will come up on the next episode. I have not forgotten about you guys. It just wasn't conducive to read it here without the other two to caustic comments. So that will be coming up. And I know we're behind on cigar news. I apologize. There's just been a lot going on with PCA. My inbox is so freaking full of cigar news that it is obscene what's come in. So we'll get that segment back coming up again. But if you want to check out Tommy's Facebook page, go into the search bar and search for
Idaho Cigar Cartel
and I'm
group.
going to tell you,
in
yes,
Facebook.
that's important because the Idaho Cigar Cartel has a Facebook page. Tommy and I screwed up setting that up. So the group and the page are not attached to each other. He doesn't use the page. He only uses the group. So please subscribe to that group.
And where you'll be able to make sure that you're in the right one, the Idaho Cigar Cartel group has the state of Idaho with an American flag in the background. The page is strictly black and white.
Right. It's a colored logo versus a black and white.
That's correct.
Doesn't by chance look like the logo on your shirt?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
right
it does.
So maybe look for that.
Right
Yep.
there. Look for this, right there.
And of course,
Oh, easy. I don't know what kind of rating you're going to try to get him this on, bro. Holy crap.
those are E
Put
rating.
that thing away, sir.
Get it into the
Holy
R-rated.
moly.
Yes. And now, if you want to check out Brown's podcast and his page, that is, of course,
brownslife.com.
and it's easy to get a hold of both of them through the respective pages. Brown's contact info is on his website. Both their contact info is on my website under the About Us section.
Yep.
And as always, guys, I encourage you visit lumacigarcartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. We're kind of having trouble with both of those platforms, but we do our best.
Yeah.
And, you know, the typical outro is not here, but Scott would say at this point, good smoke, good drink, good life. Take care, everybody. And gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being here. We enjoy you every time you come up here, and glad to help you get your batteries recharged.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Later.